Alright, welcome guys, welcome. We're back with Shadow Empire. So actually I'll just change where my head is to get it out of the way. It's best up there. Alright, now I've sort of mentioned this particular episode. This is now episode 3 of this particular Let's Play. We can't expand out, so we're going to have to expand tall. So we're going to have to, Dasburg is going to become super important, and we're just going to have to keep on growing what we can in here. It means we're going to fall behind in terms of the score, but we're just going to have to do that until we can survive. It's going to take a long time for us to expand out. But it is a death world, basically, this particular world that we're on. We have arachnids in both locations. This is a group of arachnids, for example, which if they can catch us and destroy us, they will take that option. We're not at war with them yet, but they've already both hit the hive stage of development, which is a problem because there is actually a... I'll just go back to this into here. This is new in the game. They're newish. Arachnids. So during the Galactic Republic era, domesticated arachnids were present on many planets as they were able to produce the raw materials needed to produce a star-laced fabric, an ideal material to produce advanced heat shields for their re-entry into the atmosphere of spacecraft. After the Dissolution War, many domesticated arachnids starved in their pens, but as they are quite clever, on most worlds at least, some of them managed to escape and they went feral. So in this feral stage, there can be some reproduction, but it is only when the arachnids reach the hive stage, which is what we have, or higher, they'll get a queen and get some serious reproduction going. Diplomacy is impossible, and they'll kill any humans, civilian or military, they can get their hands on. In fact, the kills will help them spawn more arachnids. Feral arachnids, which is just our regular arachnids, a group of escaped arachnids that went feral. Note that these ferals have not yet reached hive stage and are still relatively harmless. We're no longer there. Hive arachnids. So a group of ferals have given birth to the arachnid queen. Note that these hives have a tendency to grow fast and they can advance into unaligned territory. They will still push back against our borders too. So just be aware of that. It doesn't mean that they just stop at our borders and we can go as far as we like. That's not the case. They'll have, but they won't actually. They're not really ready to go on all-out assault at this stage. They'll have Defendrix cast arachnids, so it's a different class of arachnids. After that, they then become swarm arachnids, where the arachnid hive gets to a more advanced stage. In this case, they will actually then sort of go out and start to invade minor factions and try to take them over aggressively, which is unusual. Like we haven't seen that before in the game. The arachnids were just, they would be in their territory, but now we've got like a very, very advanced group. And then finally, we have the Nexus arachnids, which is basically there for planetary domination. So I've titled this particular episode, I did mention it on my other YouTube channel that are we playing Starship Troopers? Well, we sort of are now with the way this is sort of then working. So this whole southern border is all these bugs, and so we're ultimately going to have to defend against them. So we're building up. This is our main goal at this stage: is to build up some sort of defense for when they do become aggressive, and they will push up. So we have to be a bit careful here. We're also at war with a group of slavers, and I need to finish off this war as well fairly quickly. We've got a couple of choices as to how we progress with this. The actual troops that we have aren't really strong enough to push these back. That we can hold the line, but we can't really push them back. So we've got a line through here. Actually, what I will do is just turn on the operational logistics colours, just so I can sort of make sure that we are always getting supplies. You can see there's a group there that I've had to bring back into our territory. But I'm just keeping a certain group along this line to keep the arachnids at bay. We haven't seen any movement from up in here yet, so I don't have any defences up that way. We don't know what's inside this territory. We could expand out that way, but it's just going to cost me more industrial points. Like if we have a bit of a look and see what we've got, you can see our industrial points have all been spent doing other things as well. So really we're just in the process of building up. If I go back to Dasburg itself and look at the assets and just click it based on through here, we're still trying to build the hospital. Maybe I'll explain a little bit about why we're building these sorts of things like hospitals, and even though we're sort of trying to win the war. Yeah, maybe I'll start with our final goal. Our final goal here, well, not our final goal, but the short-term goal that we're actually trying to get is to supplement our armed forces. And to do that, we need to have better troops. So if I go, for example, and click on this particular road here, by the way, it can be useful if you go into the map layers bar to just always look at current points to see what your logistics it actually is. I haven't tweaked these at all with any of this stuff, which I will be doing when we start to need to use the logistics, but at this stage, it doesn't really matter that much. If I then go across up into my orders bar, I can go to raise a formation. Now, by default, the game actually starts off, if you're new to the game, it'll start off with regiment mode. I wish they wouldn't do this. It really should start off at battalion mode. This is sort of like a high level, like a much, much bigger military group, and then you've got full-on divisions as well. But in this case, we just want we want battalion level. And really, at this early stage independence, we will be wanting to get like with an operational HQ, like with an actual, this is a collective of different forces. And you can see we can make a few of these, like infantry brigades. Machine gun brigades are more defensive. The machine guns do defend very, very well. So they're probably really what we're aiming for in terms of these OHQ type things, but they do cost me, like I've got just enough recruits now to actually go and get one of these. I don't have the industrial points. I've got more than enough metal, which is great, and political points, we've got a fair few of those. So I can almost get this if I had the industrial points. So that's actually something we do want to actually then go and get. The other bits and pieces I'm not really all that interested in. You can see there some of these cost an awful lot in terms of getting like recruits, etc. What we can do is we can also go to independent groups, and we've got 2 pages of these where we end up just getting supplementary units that we can then sort of place on the map. And so some of these, like the machine gun is defensive, but I need some sort of offensive way of actually sort of pushing things forward. So I do actually have the independent light tank battalion through here, which is only 500 recruits, 460. This one gives me, it requires a lot more metal. So that one's actually something that would be very, very viable for us to go and actually have a bit of a look. But I can't get that yet, so because we don't have any industrial points. So we need to get the industrial points up to be able to get those. We could also on page 2, sorry if I just go back out again. I don't know why it flicks there. On this other page, we actually have a recon battalion as well. And these buggies, again, are cheaper to build, but they're just not quite as powerful, but they also do a lot of really, really cool things. So it may be a combination of getting a couple of light tanks and a couple of buggies. Now, let's just evaluate both of those. So this is actually our short-term goal is to start to pick up a few of these. These are fairly effective in terms of fighting. If I go to the management screen, go to models, and we'll have a bit of a look at each of these. So we've got the buggy in through here, and we can sort of see if I go and click on this particular one, it'll then give me the stats on the actual buggy itself. Now the arachnid, I think, is considered armoured, but I can't remember exactly. Anyway, this is against soft targets. We do very, very well with these, with their machine guns, and so they've got sort of like they've got 5mm steel plating, and they have what else do they have? Advanced machine gun at this stage. Hi Dragster and Falcons, how you guys going? Do you just concentrate on modifying the formations you have, or research new ones? Both, but not researching new ones at this early stage is not viable. So I will end up doing that eventually, but not yet. We're just trying to plug the gaps with what we can get hold of, and at the moment these crossbilly recon buggies are something we can do. This will be much, much more effective than our, if I just exit and go back to my infantry as an example and have a bit of a look at those. They do defend at 74 and they attack at 37, which is not great. And against armour, I think arachnids fall into this category. I'm not 100% sure about this, but they actually end up where we've got like the, they defend fairly poorly against armour. So, and they attack very poorly against armour. Whereas when we have a look at the recon buggies, so if we go back to the buggies and have a look at those, they do attack a little bit better. They've got better survivability. They don't defend all that well. against armour. In through here, they do defend very, very well, though, against the infantry. So that's soft targets. If we go back to our machine gun and have a look at these guys, these defend extremely well against infantry and reasonably well against armour. But if we have a look at the actual armour itself, like the actual light armour, so this is the light tank that we actually have, and these happen to be quite strong. You can see there that these have got a howitzer gun. There's two types of guns. Well, there's two classes of guns. There's howitzers and essentially anti-tank guns. The howitzer is much more explosive, so it's going to do a lot of damage against soft targets, for example, like infantry. But it also is still reasonable against armour. So it does a sort of like a much better attack. So if we need to be aggressive and kill things off, these are what we're aiming for. And really, when it comes down to it, I think getting even 2, 3, or even 4 of these little groups would be what we're looking for initially, and put them into our existing forces and just use those, because we're not. If we have a look at the actual game, at the resources we have on the map, we're not struggling for oil as well. We're not struggling for oil. We're not struggling for metal. It's just industrial points. That's the only thing we've really got troubles with. So we've sort of been spending them to build things up. The other thing we're trying to do is we're also, while we're doing that, to get more industrial points, I need to build up my actual city. So if we have a look at Dasburg does have an industry here. It only gives me 55 per turn. If I go and click on that a couple of times, I can then bring this one up. If I can get the next level, which is going to cost, the construction cost is 4 rounds, it's going to cost a hell of a lot of metal, like a hell of a lot. One machine, I've got 6 machines, so 4 of those would then go with that one. This is per turn. That's actually not that bad. If I can get the metal, if I can get the actual metal up and save up, I would then be able to get like a lot of industrial points coming through. But it uses up 75 energy, which is a lot more energy than what I have as well. Like my energy is going down at 34 per turn, and I'm at 134, so we're losing energy. That's actually our next big problem we have to then go and deal with. So we've got that to contend with as well. So in this case, getting the industrial points would be ideal, so that we can start to build these different things. We are building, though, before we even built trying to get on top of the energy, I was trying to get this hospital built. And so the hospital is important for me. And again, we've run out of industrial points to build this particular hospital, but it's very, very close. So we've got like basically 1 turn left, and then hopefully that will be built. It may still take 2 turns. If I go to page 2, we don't have anything there. Actually, this is cool. The actual private sector is building a light industry plant as well. This is actually very good for us. If I go and click on this one through here, what it does do is it produces another 20 IP that I can use. It produces it for its own use, but it does actually give me a little bit extra. And so that's actually very, very useful for me. So this is a great thing that they're doing. I should explain a little bit. I'll try to do deep dives into the way the game works. If we have a look at Dastopia, or if you look at Dasburg, this is the actual city itself. So actually, I'll just read the comment there. So hi, sick, and then Leo's Panther is then saying, when you say building tall, does that mean you won't do much aggressive expansion? I just can't. There's no cities for me to take over. So I don't actually have anywhere that's really viable. The only way we're going to really go and get other towns established and actually go and start to sort of expand ourselves rather than taking over an existing town. Like normally if there's a minor faction nearby, I want that town. It still takes a long time to build it up. So we're not going to fall behind in the early part of the game. It's more sort of like mid-late game. If we've only got 1 city at that stage, then we're going to be in trouble. But we can at least focus on this 1 city. So we're just going to be building and putting as much as we possibly can and getting as much growth into this city as we possibly can as well. And so in this case, the city itself, this is all the different bits and pieces. You can click on these different things to see different aspects about how things work. Now, in this case, the population is wanting to build light industry next. So this is exactly what they are building. So back in the assets, They happen to have this one under construction, 1 turn left. That's going to be very, very welcome for us. This is actually great. Sometimes they'll build things that we don't want, which is a problem. Like if they start to build, so every time you've got to look every a little bit to see if they start to take your resources from you, which they're not. But anyway, this is something that we've got we haven't actually found any other mining operations around anywhere just yet. So this is going to be very, very welcome from our perspective. We do have, this is our current source of energy. This is actually something we found in the ruins of Dasburg. So Dasburg is a ruin which is now our capital essentially. So we've got a degraded liquid energy reactor. And so all the majors will start off with something like that. But we do need to supplement this because it's going backwards. We've now got too much, the drain on the energy is too much. It doesn't mean we die, it just means that everything slows down and starts to grind to a bit of a halt. So as we get closer to 0, I will come in and try to fix that one up. But we do need to get on top of this energy. So what we'll be doing is, you can see there, if I go back to page 1 of this, I don't actually have any other energy base in through here, but I can go and build, if I go back to construction, I can go to energy here, and I can build a solar panel field. It'll take 2 rounds. It'll take up 2 of the 6 machines that we have. It'll take, what's that, if we double 185, we're still looking at 370 odd, I guess, of the industrial points that we then just need to get. And its base output is 50, but this is its base output. We happen to be on a world where we've got slightly better irradiance, so it'll actually output maybe around about 60, I guess. So that will actually then sort of push this one back a little bit. But we'll need to get more and more of these over time. So I can't really build this one just yet. I will have to sort of wait. But this will be how we then supplement our energy. So this is really the only real way for us to get the energy. If you are playing the game and you're new to it, don't start with only tech level 3 when you start the game, otherwise you won't have access to this. And that means you have to then think about other things. We've got enough of the rare metals to sort of be able to build this already, which is good. So that's sort of where we are in that sort of sense. Nothing much else we can do through here. Everyone is just sort of holding the line here at this point in time, keeping these slavers back. They're probably not going to attack. We're dug in fairly well now in this particular environment. We've got different forms all the way through here, which is sort of working well. Everything is sort of thumping along. So there's nothing much we can do this turn. I will just end the turn. Okay, so Leo's saying, cool, looking forward to how you plan to colonize this world. Well, what we'll have to do is we're going to have to be friendly with the major faction, which is over here. So hopefully we can maintain a friendship there. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult. So they're going to have to be like an ally. Now, we're seeing some movement out through here with the arachnids. That didn't go for us. Again, national pride. So these are, now actually I will address this elephant in the room as well. Like, people actually don't like the game because of the AI generated content in it. I actually think it really does a lot to enhance the immersion of the game. And so this is a group of meritocracy leaders that we actually have that are sort of all combined, congratulating themselves and having a bit of a lunch, whatever it might be. You can turn them off. So if you don't like them, you can turn it off. For me, I think it does add to the immersion. And I'm not someone who actually likes AI content, to be honest. But in this case, I think it's done fairly well. So anyway, that's we just looks like we've gained 1 regime feat as well, which is good. Okay, so SICK, the Director of Military Research, says we've discovered a new tech, radiation filters. We have an idea how to create filters specifically to filter out radiation. If we do the research, all our existing vehicles and suits would be upgraded. So this would actually then, this is just going to allow us to go into higher radiation levels. We have on our western border a little bit of radiation, but not enough to worry us. So Kruna is saying, how is the diplomacy in this game? It's functional. It's not as it's sort of a weird sort of card-driven aspect to it, along with I'll just say it's functional. It's not great, but it's actually it can be very good. But it comes down to a lot to your decisions, what choices you make. It's complex, but still not. It's not the focus of the game, but it is actually something where it can be very, very helpful to actually have some friends in amongst the other factions in the actual game itself. But the actual process of doing diplomacy is you are a lot constrained to events, to sort of random cards which can help you, etc., etc. So it's you can still do certain things, like I can still talk with different factions, but certainly having bonuses will help. Maybe I'll try to talk a little bit about that as we sort of get closer to that. We're still too early to really sort of be doing anything with diplomacy. We've got here we go, Shadow Diplomat. Assign a veteran diplomat to a leader to help with the leader's next skill roll. So this one here this is a major diplomacy stratagem, normally executed by Foreign Affairs Council Director. So we don't have a Foreign Affairs Council at this stage, and so this one will actually then go and help with the it'll help with the next big role that we have to do for diplomacy. This is what I mean about the cards. So this would then help with the RNG for that particular one. So there's some RNG involved. Yes, there is. Yeah, so, to a degree. Certain things. It's sort of. Actually, I'll try to explain it because it is complex. If I just dismiss that one, they're wanting more happiness with the workers. Increase it by increasing their salary. I don't want to do that because I'm struggling a bit with the money. Actually, that last turn was not too bad. When we have a look at the major faction that we're aware of is down on this particular border, but it's still actually, they're into here, Bulgaria. And so I can actually have a look at the, play a stratagem on this regime. So I can play a card, actually now we know what they are, they're militarist. This is not good for us. So they're friendly at the moment, but they will become aggressive. Now, we can see certain things as we get to know them. We then end up finding different aspects about how they then sort of work. We don't know what their political profile is, what their society profile is, or what their psychology profile is. For us, this is what our profiles are. So we actually have a little bit of so the politics is meritocracy, is our main sort of political bent. We've also then, for society, we've got enforcement, and for psychology, we've got heart. So we don't know what theirs actually is. We don't know what their tech level is. Virtus is up through here, which essentially is sort of like represents life force, positivism, willingness to sacrifice for the greater good, etc., etc. The culture type is militarist in this case, which puts them into more of the authoritarian sort of aspect with the way that they then sort of work, which will be against our. So that if they were more authoritarian down through here, or like autocracy, that this is more what you'd expect from a militarist type group, and also they're going to be looking for expansion. So this is going to then sort of push them out a certain way. Sorry, I've got a bug here. I'm just going to go and get rid of it. Oops, I missed. Being attacked by arachnids. That wasn't an arachnid. That was just a big cockroach. But it's I missed it. I was trying to scoop it away. Anyway, it's funny because I never ever eat in this room ever. So there's no food down here. I don't know. I know they eat paper and stuff. But anyway, so so Leo Panther's saying a lot of skill checks and dice rolls. Now, if I don't actually have anyone to look after the foreign affairs, like if I go into... how can I show this? I can't really show it until we start to sort of get like the collection of different councils that can come in. And at the moment, we only have a couple of councils. If I go to the reports and have a look at well, this actually sort of shows you every single major faction is going to have the same sort of setup where they've got like a cabinet of different advisors. You can see I've only got like a couple of council directors. I've got one for the Supreme Command Council and one for the Military Research Council. But eventually you can have a Foreign Affairs Council, a like a spying council, like, you know, sort of like a, I forget what it's called, like, you know, we are spying, economics council, model designers, all sorts of different things in through here. We've got advisors as well. So these are all the different characters. So these actually sort of drive, and they also all have their own things that they like. So for example, these guys, this one, any decision where we're going with fist or democracy, this one will be pro those. If we have to make a decision that's anti-democracy, he'll be against what we do, and it'll actually then affect his loyalty to us. So we have to sort of manage each character as well as you know, with the actual group. So that's the cabinet overview. The personnel overview, and through here we can sort of see the various groups again with their relations and how that's being affected. The factions, we've got political factions, and every society has got these. I don't spend much time with this, but essentially we've got the Democratic Superior Party has 62% of the vote. The Merchant Society has 38%, and so at this stage it goes through what their happiness is. And she says 60% in the poll there. So not sure what that. Oh, sorry, this is the seats. Yeah. So the Merchant Society is in minority at the moment, but I think it looks like it's maybe becoming the majority next time that there's some sort of vote. So the following classes have voting rights, so all the leaders. Now, we're playing as a meritocracy. This, again, is the complexity of the game, which has come in fairly recently with the new DLC, is the only people that can vote in our society are the actual leaders, not the population. So because it's a meritocracy. So this is something where, like if it's authoritarian, it's whoever the leader is. If it's democracy, it's the whole population will then vote. And so in this case, it really comes down to the meritocracy type thing where things actually sort of do go through. Now, the Democratic Superior Party has got, like, overall, as a group, they want democracy more so than meritocracy. If I go to the Merchant Society, they're more meritocracy, commerce and heart is sort of what they want. Now, I can do different things to push these. These are the different members in the council that are on this particular side of politics. And so they've got, like, different areas that are impacted by this, but every other group, like this other militarist society, will have their own different factions. We can then, like, over time, we'll get used to what these factions actually are from the other group, and we can then do things to try to promote other factions within their society to make them more amenable to working with us, things like that. So we can sort of manipulate. So the diplomacy it's so different to other games, like where you're just talking to people. There's all this subterfuge that goes on. There's all these other sorts of things. It's very, very deep, but there is RNG involved with it as well. So it's sort of one of these things where each group that we sort of see through here ultimately is going to have, it's essentially, this is next proportional vote is in 13 rounds. Okay, so this will be when things do come up. So I'm not sure if that means that the Merchant Society will then sort of take control. But so even these, like Big and Carbon Lord, is now the commander. In a meritocracy, the leaders will swap very, very quickly because they're looking for the best person for a particular role to sort of push their party forward. And so all this sort of happens in behind the scenes as well. So it's actually fairly interesting. Demand overview. Accept any demands here, that's okay. We have promised that our bureaucratic asset levels will reach 3 levels, which again is building tall. I need to be focusing on this, so I did make a commitment that we'd be trying to get to our bureaucratic levels up as well. So this is another thing that we need to sort of try to do, which we should be able to do again fairly soon once I just get on top of the a few other little bits and pieces. But it's quite rich and deep. Yeah, so Stalin's Pet saying you failed your kill bug skill. I just wanted to flick it away from where I am, but I missed it, and it's sort of running behind the computer now. It's just annoying. Karina's saying it sounds quite complex. The actual, actually I can show you, this is, by the way, you can freely download, this is the manual. Manual is sort of like the way that the manual works in this game. So you can download the manual to have a bit of a look to see what the game is like. The manual gets updated a lot, and it's actually a working document that the developer, there's only a single developer who makes this game, but what he does is as he makes changes to the game, he writes the manual. The manual is actually almost like his notes. So as he introduces things or does anything like that, he just keeps on updating the manual. So every little change, so the manual is not something that is old and and is forgotten about. It's actually a living document. And so depending on what level of the game it's on, it's sort of in through there. But if we can go through, and it's quite well written. If we go into diplomacy, I'll just do a quick search. I'll see it's got interface. It's a big manual. There's a lot going on. How to play, building the economy. There's a lot in it. There's a hell of a lot in it. It's incredible actually what it does do. Logistics, rules, zones, cultures. I'll just go and zip this one over a little bit. Assets should be in here somewhere. Decisions, organizations. No, this is still it. Leaders and factions. Special stories. I've got them turned off in this particular one. Units, logistics, models, recon. Additional rules. Oceania DLC, Republica DLC is what we're actually got, which is it covers the elections, etc. You're not seeing diplomacy in that lot. It sort of just comes about almost through osmosis within the game itself. Like certain things will sort of trigger diplomacy. So it says, in essence, the game is about military conquest, but you also engage in diplomacy, budgets, blah, blah, blah. So that's in there as well. I'll just keep on having a bit of a look. Declaring war, diplomatic events, selected, then declare war. Advisors, excellent diplomacy skill. So this is, again, I think this is actually just giving a bit of an example of somebody that can be helpful in different ways. Again, if we're trying to sort of become friendly, we need someone... the Director of the Supreme Command Council, since it is he who will take charge of playing any diplomatic stratagems. So whoever's in charge of that role, depending on their diplomacy score in through here, with their skill set, that will also, any role that we have to then go and do, will actually then sort of end up coming back through that side. Credits, it's the money. So sometimes diplomacy costs you different things. Anyway, there's just heaps of cards that you end up sort of playing. So the card that we just got, I'll just sort of leave that one through there. If we have a look at the actual strat cards that we actually have, mages, this is actually things we can then go and do. So we can gift them, a small token gift would improve relations. So we can play this one to actually try to improve the relations. And when I hover over it, it'll tell me exactly what sort of, what we can expect from this one. So if we're trying to push things forward, and again, we get the cards aren't just random. They're based on what we've chosen to do in the game. So, and like there's still a random component with what they bring in. Oh God, this is hard to explain. It's like there's certain things where our choices will give better weighting to getting certain cards. And so ask for help. In this case, ask a friend. To actually sort of for help, either credits or political points, or we can sort of do this one open contact. So open communication so that you can propose deals. Now, I'm not ready to do that one just yet. So what I would like to do is get a Foreign Affairs Council before I do that. And a Foreign Affairs Council is not in my priorities at this point in time. So we're just going to have to sort of struggle on. I think they're going to end up being an enemy, to be honest, because they're militaristic. So I don't think I really want to be sort of pushing a friendship with them too much. For the minor regimes, we've got the same sort of deal in through here again as well. We haven't got any minor regimes that we've come across. Covert ops, so again we can send spies. Again, if we have a covert ops council, we get much more cards coming in because of with more spies. National things, like we end up with all sorts of different cards in through here again as well, like different recruitments, etc. So we've got a few other little things like everyone will learn. So this one is a political pack stratagem. So it's a different type of card. It's complex the way the cards work. So I'm just going to let the game play itself out a little bit as we go through. But all of the decisions we make, I think I'll just keep on playing until we have to make some decisions and then talk about it. Now this is we've got here we go. There's organisation decisions. So it's now the game now thinks we're in a position to go and bring another council in. And so we've already got the Military Research Council, and we've also got the Supreme Command Council. Now, we start off with the Supreme Command Council. These are the different things we can bring in. So we've got the Economic Council, and the Economic Council will do prospecting for us. They'll be looking for opportunities. They'll help with taxation, stuff like that. So it's probably the one we're going to go for. If we had really, really poor military, and we've got our actual infantry are quite bad, the Model Design Council allows us to rebuild or repurpose and redesign our actual individual units. So that's actually a good one for sort of like, like for example, if we can get hold of the, well, one thing we did actually have was with the research, the radiation filters, which we didn't actually get, what it should have come up and say, do you want to research that? It actually didn't do that. I might just double check that, because at the moment we're not researching anything. We're looking for the combat armor. And so when we get combat armor, we're then going to need the Model Design Council to then build the new soldiers using the combat armor. We can't just, it's just not automatic. Some things are automatic, like the radiation filters, but not the combat armor. So we have to then, that's when we're going to need that council. The Staff Council is one that is, this one here actually allows us to then rebuild actual formations of different types of units and combine them together to create very, very nuanced sort of attacking groups, which is actually fairly cool. But again, it's more later on that we sort of need that one through there. Secret Service is the covert operations. We'll be wanting that at some point, but not right now. Foreign Affairs, it's only that major is the only benefit we get from that, and I think we're going to be at war with them anyway, so that's not really viable to get just yet. The Interior Council is how we then look after our actual people. Like this is like an HR department. So we end up getting better roles on different, and getting better units. We've already got some pretty good units. So again, not a priority for me because I've already got good people. Applied Science, there's some of the science that we end up getting which is actually outside of either military or economic research. So I'm not going to worry about that one. Air Force is also a very nuanced particular type of research, which is if we don't actually have an Air Force Research Council, it all gets put in with the military research. So we're still, all of the Air Force research stuff is at the moment just going to come under military, which is not ideal, but I can't really do anything, or I can just do nothing. Now, of all of those, the one that I do need is the Economic Council. Before I do that, I can just go and have a quick look at my management screen and just see who is right for this particular role. If we look at our leaders, we've got a few people that actually aren't being used. Like we've got Rainbow Crater Rock in through here, which is capacity 5. Capacity is their ability to learn. So this is a very, very valuable unit. Only 20 years old. So she's got incredible intelligence. She doesn't have any skills at all in technical, science, or inventor, but she sort of has innate skills based on her basic intelligence. But being a Cap 5, she is ultimately going to accelerate ahead with this. Now, she does actually have very, very good diplomacy. She's got high charisma, high war skills as well, but it's not actually, it hasn't eventuated with any of the skills in through here. Strength is like her own basic sort of strength. So this is like a measure of physical and mental force. So all these things have a bearing on what they do. But having a Cap 5 unit, even though they don't actually have any, like she's got trade skills, and she does have improvisation. Improvisation is an unusual one. This helps the leader in question make a skill roll on a skill doesn't really master very well. If any skill roll is made on a skill with a value of 15 or lower, the improvisation skill adds a small bonus. So this is used in model design, but also skill rolls and stuff like that. I'm thinking no matter what, we want to put this one into one of the councils, and I'm thinking that she will learn the Economic Council very, very quickly because of her high intelligence. These are all the intelligence-related traits in through here. War traits relate to there. Charisma traits relate down to this one, and then we have sort of like random stuff down through this other side. Willpower, measure of the ability to not be manipulated or blackmailed by others. She's a meritocracy again, which I like. She is pro-commerce and pro-fist in this sort of case. So she's ambitious as well. You have things like ambition, corruption, all sorts of things which are personal. So this is like a role play type aspect of it. So she hasn't been, no one's actually claimed her yet, but anyway, that she's going to be probably the one I think would be the best one. What I can do is I can also just see, is she the best? So I can actually go in and actually start to add in other skill sets. So if I go into the technical skills and add, for example, science, and add in inventor, I then get a bit of a skill set through here. Now, at the moment, Sick, who's our director of the military research, is the only one with any invention skills and also any real science skills. The other one down through here, the governor, is, I don't want to move him out from where he is, and we have a commander of the 1st Machine Gun Infantry Brigade. He's also got some science skills, but she'll learn it. So I'm actually happy enough for that for us to sort of deal with what she's going to be doing. Anyway, let's prepare the road for her. So we're just going to go back into here. We're going to click on the Economic Council. It's going to cost me 7 political points. We get political points every turn. So this comes from our staff council, staff command person. I'm just going to go and grab that one.
Yes, sir.
Orders have been issued to get new organisation from the ground. Please be patient while personnel are being recruited and officers are being required. That's all good. This is our secretary. The secretary doesn't have any real sort of power in what's going on. In this case, what I now need to do is the Supreme Command Council is a bit of a catch-all for anything that we don't actually have an actual person in charge of. Now, I'm going to need the Economic Council to be higher than 25. I'm going to lock this one in and just bring this one up to, say, maybe even 35 there, actually. This is going to impact the person in charge of the Supreme Command Council. But this is a fairly important role. Actually, I might just make it a bit lower. Just do it that way through there. So that's going to impact the person in charge of the Supreme Command Council, who is quite poor at their job.
Yes, sir.
So you can see down there, Mindy Irving relation went down by -10. So if we have a look at Mindy, just go back into management and look at the leaders. So Mindy is the director of Supreme Command Council. She's only a cap 1. Her natural relation point is 100, so at the moment she's 75, and we just did a -10, so she was 85. But she will she's a bit of a brown nose, or a bit of a, she's always going to be positive about what we're doing. So we can sort of almost push her around. And I'm thinking it wouldn't be a bad idea to get rid of her from this role at some point. I think she has basic skills. Not much. And she won't learn. Look at the low levels in through here with all these different skills. She really is crap at what she does do. But I don't really want to piss her off too much. So I'm just going to keep her where she is for now. Yeah, we'll keep her where she is. If we ever want to bring in another council, let's just say that we don't get that particular event coming through saying, hey, do you want to grab a council? We can do it at any time by going to our secretary and calling them. And then we can go into new organisation. Now, we've already done it this turn, so it doesn't show up, but we can actually always call it and say, okay, I need a model design council, bring up that particular screen. So we can always do that whenever we want to. So we don't have to wait for that to actually come up. That's our decisions. Now, they're moving back away from the border, which is actually interesting. This allows me to plug this gap a little bit, which frees up this unit, which allows me to start to bring it down to the south. I'm going to keep on moving this one away from this particular location, and we'll just place it up to stop anything that might come back up through this other side. If anything's fast moving that comes out of here, they could technically get into my actual assets, which I don't want to have happen. There is a zone of control a little bit around different units. So they do extend. It makes it harder for units to bypass, like to enter a zone of control and then bypass. It does slow them down quite a bit. But in this case, this is where our war actually is. Now, when we have a look, you can see there we've got 118 industrial points have now come back up. We're still going down at 34 points with the energy. So we actually now have accrued a little bit of industrial points. If we go and have a look back at Dasberg again at the assets, We can see construction is just finished on the hospital, and so we've got a little bit of little bit of extra industrial points in through there now. I think I'm going to go and get the solar panel just so we can get on top of this one now. The getting on top of the energy. Things we're going to have to sort of keep a bit of an eye on is ammunition as well. But at the moment, ammunition is okay. Now fuel, we've actually maxed out. So I was wondering why our money went up. So our money went from 570, and we should be losing about 100 per turn, based on where we currently are in the game. Maybe I'll just talk a little bit about this as well. So the money has gone up, but also our storage of oil has also maxed out. Now I've got oil. I'm using 40 oil for the truck station. I'm generating 41 oil from the recycling station. The airbase is also taking 20 oil for what it's actually then going and doing. And the oil is here. So this particular location is generating 385 oil. Now it's running at 100% production. I can reduce this production, which will then also save a little bit of this energy that we actually have through here. So the 385 oil, I don't need it. In fact, what I can do is, if I wanted to, I could actually I could mothball it, which essentially means that it doesn't generate any oil at all. But we still have some trucks and things, so I think I'll still just keep it where it is. Actually, what I might do is I might start to use these aircraft just to do a bit of scouting to see what else is around. So this oil, but I don't need it. I might just keep it at 25% production. So what we'll see when I click on this thing to change its production amount, it will then change. Its requirements will go down as well. So I'm going to click on that one through there. And so next turn, this will then be going down. This will be chewing up a lot less energy, and it will also then be generating a lot less, like it's generating about 100. Now, in terms of what actually happened this last turn with the money, why we got so much more money, I don't think it'll tell us in the trade area what we ended up getting. We can sell, like fuel is pretty cheap. We're not getting much from that one. Metal is actually worth a fair bit. Rare metals are worth a lot, so we can sort of this is where we can sort of sell things off. 6 machines can also be sold, which we don't want to do, of course. So I can actually sell off those if I wanted to. Like that's how much the traders will actually buy from us, which will give me another 592 credits. So I can sell 83. I only need 200. So I think I'll do that because that's going to give me, I'll end up with way over 1,000. That just happens to double the money that we've got. So I'll just go and sell that. They've got certain credits there to actually sort of spend anyway. But that's actually what they're willing to buy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, okay, so the SHQ commander managed to increase the price. Now, at the moment, the SHQ commander is the one doing all the trading. Our SHQ commander is functional, but not great. So he's actually pushed the price up to 11 credits, which is great. So we end up with 604 credits in through there for those 83 rare earth metals. We'll just go and click on OK. We can then go and buy different things as well, like from them if we needed to. But I'm sort of happy enough with where we are. We'll just go and close that one off. But in the meantime, we either lose, like if there's no market for oil, we actually lose it. But what actually did happen, you can actually, if I hover over there, we can see down the very, very bottom there, it says the last 2 lines is lost due to max storage reached was 0. So even though we reached the maximum storage, the next line down tells us what actually happened. Sold due to maximum storage reached. So we actually sold 185 of those for 71 credits. So we just went, so we hit the limits of our storage, and so then we sold the excess because there was a market for it. If there was no market for it, if we went into the trade network, for example, and had a look at sales, you can see that people do want food. What don't they want? They want water, metal, certain things. So there's, they sort of want a bit of everything. But if there was something where they didn't want it, we would then lose it. So essentially it would then just be wasted. It'd be wasted production. In this case, we sold it. And we've now got a fairly, fair amount of money sort of just sitting there at this point in time. So anyway, we now need to go back into Dasberg. We'll just make sure that we're not actually building what we needed to. The hospital has just finished construction. I'll talk a little bit about why we built a hospital before we built anything else as well. So, but I'll just go and firstly go and construct. And I can build the energy anywhere I like, so I don't have to build it in Dasburg, but I might as well build it here because let's face it, if Dasburg falls, that's the end of the game for us. So it's so we might as well just keep all my eggs in one basket essentially, because there's no reason not to. So we'll just go construct energy back in through this other side, and we'll just go with the solar panel. So we'll start construction of this one. We do have enough of all the different bits and pieces that we require. It's going to take more than just 2 rounds to do this because of the industrial points. Just start construction through there. All right, let's talk about another aspect of the game, which is the game is all about getting bureaucratic points. So this is actually when we look at the demand overview, we did promise that we'd get our bureaucratic assets reach at least 3 levels. Quite often the game will prompt you to make a commitment. And so we've made a commitment, we're going to get our bureaucratic points up. Why are bureaucratic points important? If we have a look at the Empire dashboard, and it's funny because the game very rarely says bureaucratic points, it just says BPs. So it's the very, very first, when we have a look at the Empire dashboard in through this other side, of all of the resources we have, it's the number 1 at the top there. So next turn's BPs, it's going to be 172. That is what we sort of expect to get. And so we end up generating 82 of these ourselves, but we get a 90 BP bonus because we've got a small bureaucracy, because we don't actually have a big government. As our government increases, this will then start to come back down a little bit as well. So at the moment, this is why the game sort of looks after you a little bit when you're small. But in this case, we've got a fair few bureaucratic points coming in. These are then used, and I don't think it'll show anything here. No, it won't show it in this one. We then go into the Empire budget. So usually budgets are talking about the money that we actually have up through here, but the Empire budget in this case is not that at all. It's all bureaucratic points. And so when it comes in, at the moment, we've now split up our income because we've just added the Economic Council in there as well. They've received 0 this term because they didn't exist. Now, this is the Supreme Command Council splits their 102 bureaucratic points into 2 different groups. So it's a 50-50 thing. They get political power, and this then generates the political points, which we then spend to do different things. And general stratagems are just general cards. So they're not the high-level cards. These are sort of like basic cards that we can then go and get. So they've got an important job to do, which is to sort of generate the cards as well as the political points. The Military Research Council, you can see that we've put everything into discovery and nothing into research, because what we want is to discover the combat armor, because we need that very, very desperately. At the moment, what's happening with that, so this is why bureaucratic points are so important. It's what your councils use to spend what they're doing. It really is the key to the game. So getting as many of these as possible is really, really important. But to get that, we need to be able to afford it. That's one thing. Actually, I'll come back and I'll talk about the management now of the just so we can just quickly touch on it. I'm trying to find combat armor. You'll see these are the ones in yellow. We got guided RPG in the last episode, and we've also got radiation filters. We haven't researched it, we've discovered it. So we can do the research whenever we want, but I'm wanting to discover combat armor so I can then research it. When that happens, we then need to get a model design council in to then sort of make use of that. So that's what we're waiting for. And these MI just means that it's all to do with the Military Research Council. Now, this one could randomly end up trying to find gas-powered small arms, high-speed machine guns, combat armor, Gauss small arms, the rocketry back over through here. But because we also don't have an Air Force designer, they'll also randomly pick up rocket engine, turboprop engine, or helicopter engine. So all of those things are also stuff that at the moment we could be wasting bureaucratic points. So it's a bit of a scattergun, and we really want our side skirts is another one that we do want to. We actually do want that one as well. That's for when we have tanks. So we're just in discovery. We're trying to get as much discovery there as possible. All right, so let's go back to the map and talk about the bureaucratic points. So we need to get these pushed up. Now we get the bureaucratic points come really like mainly through the buildings that we have. So if we go back to Dasburg again, we'll sort of see that some of these will generate, this one here is a bureaucratic office, which is generating 50 bureaucratic points. It's a level 1 office in through there. We also get 10 from the High Command building, so it produces 10 bureaucratic points at the start of the turn. We need to build one more to make the city happy, basically. So in this case, like that commitment we made was to get 3 of them. So we've got 2 of them already that actually generated. In level 2, we don't have anything else that's actually doing this one. So we need to build bureaucratic points in through here. Now we can't do it yet because of the energy, because we have to correct that one. So we just go back to construction. If we have a look at the government buildings, we have a few different things. We can upgrade the High Command HQ, which will then give me 40, and that would then satisfy what we need to do. And that's 4 rounds to do that. It's pretty cheap. It's just industrial points, which is what I'm struggling with at the moment, to go and get that one. But it is going to take up another 40 energy. So even our current energy is not really going to sort of be able to sort of do what we need there as well. And then we've got the, sorry, I'll come back to the comments in just a minute. But the so that's one way for us to get the bureaucratic points. When we look down the bottom through here, we also have one that gives me 200 points. So this bureaucratic office, I can get this one in just 2 turns for fairly cheap if I can get hold of, if I can actually satisfy what's required to get this particular building. This is a bit of a game changer. You want this as early as you can get it. And so this particular building requires civilization level of 2. And so, okay, so what are we trying to do with it? Why are we, how do we do that, basically? It's a bit complex. And again, if you go back to the manual, and so I'll just go to civilization, just see if it comes up. Actually, it might, civilization level, okay, regime levels, yeah, so you've got 3 levels, tech, admin, and civilization. So that's in there. Does it give me anything else? Let's go to the next one. So in civilization, quality of life score. This actually sort of explains it pretty better than what I could do with a summary. So it represents how cultured and civilized and probably decadent your population and workers are in the zone. Civilization can rise up to the quality of life score of a zone. So that's the highest it can actually rise to. The higher the civilization score, the lower the fertility rate. So the higher up it goes, the less people will actually populate things, but we still need to get the civilization score up to level 2. The average of all zone civilization scores determines the regime civilization level, which is what we need to do. We've got one zone, which means that's all we have to worry about. If we had another zone and they weren't an incorporated zone, which it means that they weren't paying taxes, they don't count for that particular one through there. So they're not considered an actual zone. It's only the ones that actually are paying taxes end up sort of giving us this where we have to then figure out the odds. In our case, we don't have to worry about it. It didn't explain it all that well. I'll just see if I can actually go through a bit deeper. Again, sort of show you a bit of nuance in there. Hazard exposure level. So, okay, this is the civilization level, so we're sort of getting a bit deeper down. It signifies the level of cultural and civilization development of the population. It goes up with time if it is lower than the quality of life level. It goes down with time if the reverse is true. So it doesn't just jump to whatever the level actually is. The higher the civilization score, the quicker unrest and danger are reduced. However, the reverse is true of fear. So they become more fearful the more civilized they become. It's a very, very deep game, isn't it? There's all these little things. I didn't even realize it did that. Quality of life score. It sort of shows how to calculate this. I might just go through and actually just show you this. But these are tied together. So in Dasburg, if we just go into Dasburg and through here, we'll see that we've got different things. Like, for example, there is actually still a degree of danger in the here, which is it's diminishing a little bit per turn, and then we also have fear as well. It's diminishing a little bit per turn through there. Our civilization level in through this other side, you can see there it's the civilization score of the population here is 8. And so it's actually that's not the civilization level of the regime. But if we go and click on this one through here, I can then start to see different things in through here. So civilization score is 8. If I hover over some of these, sometimes it will tell me how they're calculated. It just happens to also be right on our quality of life score. So and so the quality of life is then based on the health, security, education, entertainment quality of life scores. And you see there that health was 0. And so it actually has like it's a bit more complicated. It's sort of the high limit of zone quality of life is the quality of life score average plus the lowest quality of life score divided by 2. And so you need to actually have a few points in each one of these. And you can see that we've got entertainment, education, security are all slowly increasing. This one's coming down a little bit. And these get divided by the level of the town. Now we've got it in a small town level 2. Once I hit this mark, I can then start to build the town up a bit more as well, but we're just a small town. It's just a faster way for me to build this one up. And we've just got the hospital. Next turn, this will start to generate points, and we should see this get up to 9. Now, once that hits 9, the civilization score, we will then reach our target of getting to the next level. It's the way that civilization score works for the regime in the Empire dashboard. Civilization, you can see there, it's actually civilization is going up by 18, like 0.18, a little bits in through here. The civilization level, which is what we're trying to get to level 2, is a square root of the average regular zone civilization level. So regular zone is the ones that pay taxes, diminished by 1, so -1. So for us to get the square root of, for us to get to 2, like essentially we need to be at civilization score of 9. So the square root of 9 is 3, -1 is 2. So we're very, very close now. So this has been slowly just going up a little bit each turn. And so if we have a look at the moment, 8, square root of 8, -1 is going to be 1.83. So that's what the civilization level is. I anticipate next turn we'll actually reach the 9. So I think we're very, very close here. As soon as that hits, bang, we're going to start building that other one, or until when we've got enough industrial points. But that's going to be really what we're going to be aiming for, is that 200. So that's actually important for us. And again, for building tall, we need to get there fast, because that's going to give us all the bureaucratic points we then end up getting to spend will then sort of kick in a big way. Okay, now I could keep on pushing forward, but these guys are all dug in already. So, and I've got no real offensive capability here, and there's no value in the land that they actually have. So, in this case, if we have a look at the actual infantry, you can see there that they've actually, this one we just moved in. It's got zero entrenchment, but all the others will be entrenched, which makes it a lot harder for them to actually to attack us. So the entrenchment is going up depending on what they're in. This one's in hills. This one in ruins as well. These ones will have like a high entrenchment level. The hills will have a high entrenchment level. Out in the plains, they only get up to 100. So the terrain also plays a big role in what we're doing there. Anyway, let's end our turn again, because we don't need to do anything else. And so we're still just discovering. So hopefully we get to civilization level 2, and that will give me more fate points as well, which allows me to then spend other things. It may be that this major is... Oh, here we go. Here comes the arachnids. It's Starship Trooper time, is it? No, they're not actually doing anything just yet. Got 5 decisions this time. Your militia forces hold a parade to show their strength and loyalty. So this is going to cost us some money, but it's actually still viable to do it in this early part of the game. Dasburg is confronted with festivities that might pose a safety risk to the participants. So too much partying going on. Your organisation faction generated 2 new stratagems, so we just got a Medal of Merit and proposed peace. This is from our Superior Command Council. Problem, new leader relation. Your relation with reserve pool member Liz Farnriver has dropped to 47 points. So you might want to increase, I think it's a her. You can do this by calling your secretary and requesting a salaries decision. I'll just dismiss that. If there's little problems, they do come up here, which is a bit like they can't build a tutorial for this game. It's just too varied with the way things actually do work. So we're seeing more arachnids coming down through here. There's 2 different groups there now. We're going to have to be careful of them. All right, so back in our area through here, you can see we're spending all of the industrial points again. We come back in, have a look at the assets, and the hospital is now kicking in 100 health points. This one here is 2 turns left to get that one through there. So we're slowly building that one up. The energy is going down. It's not as much as what it was because we're getting less oil. The oil is also still maxed out, which means that we are selling a little bit. So we sold due to maximum storage reach, only 39. So I could mothball it, but I will be needing it. So I think I'll just keep it I'll keep it just doing what it's doing. We're only losing a small amount, and there is a market for it. So I'm not going to worry about that one so much. We're still making, we've still got heaps of storage there for water. Food, we've got a fair bit of storage. Actually, no, we're sort of maxing that one out as well. Food can be used for making biofuel, but we don't need that. We could sell that because there is a market for it. Let's just go to trade, and we're in the sale area. We could actually just sell this one. We've got they would buy all the food we have. It's cheap, for what they want, but we could sell off, say maybe we make 200 each turn. Let's just sell off a couple of turns worth, so 400 food for 73 credits. That'll do.
Yes, sir.
It just means we're not going to max out, which is just a waste. I mean, it's they'll still buy it, but we might as well just do it through the trading. Now, 5 decisions. One thing I like to do through here is have a quick look at all of them before I go and do anything. Organisation decisions, and through here we need a new director, and through this other side as well. So we'll have a look at Liz. Now, Liz is cap 1. She is unhappy because I think we took her out of a role because she was just so bad at it. And so I don't want her. I actually don't. So I'm not going to worry about what she's doing, at all. Her relation is coming down. She's going to be, the other group of her political party will also not be happy that she's unhappy, but she's really crap. so sorry, Liz, nothing's going to happen through there. Now, this is where new director for the Economic Council is without leadership. Now, I want Rainbow in it. I don't want Began. Began's currently in charge of the 2nd Infantry. He's also in charge of the Democratic Superior Party back and through this other side. He does have high intelligence, but he doesn't have any skill set. He's only cap 3, so I don't really want him in that role. This is actually one of the interesting things with meritocracies. Even though he's actually already got a role in the game, they will actually, meritocracy will try to put good people in there, even if they're coming from other areas, which is actually quite nice. So playing as a meritocracy is actually pretty cool. I'm going to dismiss Liz. That's going to piss her off even more.
Yes, sir.
So 4 relation points, and this actually caused 4 relation points for the whole Democratic Superior Party as well. So everyone from that party went down. But we want Rainbow Credirock in through here, so we're going to appoint her to this role. So that's good. So she's now in charge there. And this is then her actual skills that she then needs to do. We've got actually zone decisions as well. This is one of these things. We did get that message saying there was safety protocols were ignored. So during the current popular street sports competition in Dasburg, a serious fire hazard has been identified. The population and the organisers want to continue their festivities, but if we really care about them, we should close things down. Honestly, the risk is small in my eyes, but it's just a moral precedent it sets if we don't act. Professor some population happiness decline if we shut them down, though. So I'm more inclined to try to keep them happy. So this is the governor. This is actually the character that's the governor. He's actually very good as well as a governor. So he's got sort of high skill sets. And he'll start to then pick up his diplomacy or his charismatic skills in through here as well as he starts to do different things. He's using a lot. Everywhere you see an exclamation mark, it means that he's actually had to roll a skill roll during his previous turn. So he's trying to improve the agriculture, the scavenging, the prospecting. Very, very important what they end up doing through here. So he's actually sort of picking up skills all the time from what he's actually doing. But he's also oratory. He's trying to talk with the population. So very, very important role here. So he's actually in charge of Dasburg. And so he's the one telling us, what should we do? And he's advocating we do nothing. So we can do this. Everyone else takes a bit of a negative relation to us, but it's more moral to close it down. I'm going to do nothing.
Aye, sir.
And that may then lead on to other events that that we don't want. There could be like airlock problems or dome problems or something like that. And there were no accidents. However, some of my colleagues did give me some surprise looks. Everyone went up, morality overall went down, and enforcement went down by 1 point. That's okay. Okay, so and then we've got this national decision. We also have a militia parade. These do cost a bit of money. I'm going to spend the 200 just to improve the militia. So we'll just go that way. And this is definitely something that Boland wants to favour as well. So he's pro-militia.
Yes, sir.
So that will go up. And so his relation with us goes up as well. And then White Day wants to organise a party. In this case, we'll allow it. So this is again the governor. I do not feel we show enough gratitude to our veterans. My plan is to organise a grand party for our veterans, including a parade. I'd like to support this effort with my own humble means and leadership. So yeah, there's no reason to stop that. We'll just go and say yes.
Aye, sir.
There we go. Good stuff. Notice that people from the same party tend to be sort of aligned the same way with what they're looking for, and these are all just down to what their personal, what they like in here with their profiles, which again is interesting. Now the Economic Council, they do a fair few different things. Now the economic policies, we do want to get better taxation. So she will start to now roll for I think she rolls for the taxation. It might be the Interior Council that does that one. Let's put that down to 10% for the economic policies. This is cards. Prospecting chances, not really a big priority for me at this stage. I'll put it, say, 15. Just lock that in. Then we actually have discovery and research. With the way it sort of works is that ultimately whatever I don't spend in research will be put into discovery anyway. So I'm better off having just a small amount. I'll just put 5 into discovery and everything into research, but I won't research anything until I need it. So this is just a way of sort of tricking the game to make the best use of research or discovery. When I do want to research something, I want to do it quickly. So I'll just go and confirm that. But if I give her a little bit in discovery as well, it'll just help her with her skill sets. So that's all good. So that's all done. So again, we're not really wanting to expand anywhere just yet. We're still just building things up with the economy. So in this case, go back to Dasburg again. 1.4 turns left over there. Light industry is kicking in. We're getting a little bit extra ourselves. These industrial points are a bit of a bleed off from this particular light industry. Let's see what they're going to be building next in Dasburg. So if I go to the population, which is this tab through here, town customs, and so this one here is that's fine as well. That's going to improve the security. Let's have a look and see. We're still at 8, but notice how now the health score is now coming up. So we've got up to 100 health points. So it's now ramped up to 100 health points, and it's slowly pushing this one up. The quality of life score has now gone up to 11, and this will then, the civilization score for the zone will start to push up to meet that particular rolling through there. If we go back to our reports, we can see it's still staying at 1.83. It just has to kick one more over, and we're very, very close. These have bounced around a little bit because 25 is their limit. Again, it's whatever the actual security points, the maximum they can really aim for is the security points divided by the size of the town, and we have a size 2 town. These ones here is, you can see these are rising up slowly. We just only put the entertainment points in. We've got 100 points there maximum. The most we can go for that one is going to be 50, and same with this one here, but it's just a slow, it just goes up a little bit at a time as the population gets used to it. All right, I'll read some of the comments into here. So Leah saying, if you need or want cash, you could try enacting the wealth tax law. I don't need it. I'm doing pretty well with money at this stage, so I'm just going to leave it for a little while. I don't know if we've got any cards for. No, we don't actually have anything here to help me with getting money. That's where that would then be. yeah, there's nothing much there that we can actually then go and do with any of these. So I'll just leave that where that is on the nation area. Right, going back up the top. So sorry, I missed a fair few comments here. So I shall start with YouTube. There's only one comment there. So just dropping in to say that I really enjoy your videos, especially Shadow Empire. Keep up the good work. Thank you for that, Stefan. That's much appreciated. And I will just Alt-tab across. Alt-tab back there. No, it's not going to want me to do it. I'll just go back into the chat here. So Leah's saying, I'm kind of curious on how you'll approach the enacting or retracting laws. That hasn't come up yet, so I'll tackle that one at the time. Karuna's saying, thanks for the explanation. We'll have to look at the rest of the stream from YouTube later on. Interesting game this sounds like to be. Ivory Coast versus Norway is starting now. Okay, so has that just started? Like it's half an hour in now, I guess. Interesting. So that's Norway should win that, shouldn't they? That should be a Norway victory. But again, like Germany got knocked out yesterday. Unusual, very unusual. I really thought Germany was going to go far in this World Cup. So a sort of big surprise. There's been a few big surprises. So and you know, it's sort of I was hoping Japan would win, but they lost as well. But I guess that was a bit of a 50-50. Anyway, so Leah's saying, wouldn't trades be listed somewhere in the cash flow report? Yes, it is. I can show you where that is. Actually, I'll just read a few of the others and come back to that one. Saying Luke Six saying, hello Daz, what are you thinking about the Republica DLC? I think it's incredibly good. Like it adds so much to the game. Like it really does. It really makes it very, very nuanced. And so Private Joe saying, personally, I would say it's excellent. There we go. Adds plenty of new layers to the game. I am, though, not so sure about the political systems change and mainly why they change in game. That comes down to your Virtus, like just how much heart your people have to maintain that particular group. So slowly over time, they end up becoming decadent, and so the people end up sort of shifting their persuasion, which I'll talk about that in more detail when we're getting close to that sort of phase of the game, when we're nowhere near close to that yet. Hi Began, how you going? And Exy, hope you guys are doing well. And Tailsly Fox as well. So okay, so Private Joe is saying, I do understand what the game tries to simulate, but I don't completely agree on how this change happens in game. Sorry, I know I sound confusing. I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. This is something that it's one of those things where it runs away from you, and you don't have very much control over it when it does actually happen. So yeah, I do get that. I get exactly what you're saying. So how habitable is our planet? It's completely terrible. Actually, I'll come back and show that in just a minute. Luke Sek was saying, yeah, my thoughts exactly, but overall a great DLC. Yeah, is a great DLC, but yeah, that the change of government it's sort of like mid-late game that actually does happen. I'll show that as well, just very, very briefly. So, and Leo Panther did sort of say if you need or want cash, you could try enacting the wealth tax law. So these are laws, again, these are different, again, to everything else, and it's now newish in the game. God, where is that? So you've got politics. So what happens here is that you've got your three major things: democracy at the top, meritocracy there, which we're at level 1, and autocracy. So they're the main ones that end up going. Later on in the game, as your Virtus score starts to come down, so it stays high for a long period of time, but particularly as we start to expand and do different things and as we become more decadent, that then starts to go down, which then weakens the resolve to sort of stay in a meritocracy. So we can go through a fair few different levels through here, but then it puts the meritocracy then gets pressure to either go to an oligarchy or an aristocracy, one of the two. So we end up essentially with a shift in what we end up getting. Autocracy can go to tyranny or fanatical autocracy. Democracy can go to spoiled democracy or syndic democracy. So these are different systems of government that the game itself ends up evolving into. And there's no real way of stopping that. That's just going to happen at some point. And it sort of goes through, and a lot of what we end up through here also has like the the different strategy, like the cards that come in. We've got different, these are the actual. So at the moment we have like an 86% chance of picking up meritocracy cards if we do pick up these political cards. 9% to get democracy. We did pick up a democracy card and 5% to get autocracy. As we sort of start to push into meritocracy deeper and deeper, this will then sort of change with different things happening as well. Also, the rarity of the cards are impacted essentially by different things as well. So we have at the moment we have a big thing for common and uncommon, and rare and very rare are very like it's not likely that we're going to get those just yet. But as we push into meritocracy, so we do get our next political strategy impact in 3 rounds, and the next political system level in 1 round. So we're going to go into this one when we do end our turn. So this will then sort of push us up into that next level. And again, this is sort of like just a bit of a runaway train. We're just here for the ride. Now, what else was there? There was another question. The taxation. If I go into the which one is it? Might be under zones, maybe. No, it won't be there. It will come up in here as well. This tells us everything that did actually happen, and it should show about the oil that we sold some of the oil off. Not seeing it there. That's actually what we mined. Go back to the overviews. If we go back to the, actually there's the laws. So the laws overview, an overview of all the laws. Current maximum number is 3. So now I don't know if I call.
Standing by for orders.
Yeah, there's nothing there I can really do at this stage. I forget how we get these. Enacted laws, actually there's possible laws. There we go. So we do actually have and lower vertus laws, and so these are a few different things in through here where we can actually go and sort of push these things in. So we have a number of different sorts of laws that we can then sort of go and enact, which I won't worry about just yet, because I think it's we're not sort of really ready to do this one just yet. Anyway, that's the laws, feats, profile, trade report. So in this case, you can sort of see through there, public trading, bought from traders, sold to traders. So the fuel, we sold a little bit of fuel to the traders in that last turn, just automatically. So that's sort of where we are there. The food, I don't know if that was automatic or the one we just sold ourselves. We did sell some. I think we sold, that's the one we sold. That's what we actually sold to them. Anyway, it's sort of interesting, the actual trade reports and stuff. There's so much detail in this game if you are looking for it. Again, the civilization level is what we're focusing on, so let's just go and end our turn here. And I'll grab a drink of water. Oh, there's the major. The major faction is actually now taking on and pushing the border out. Okay, we've got 2 decisions to make. There will be some diplomatic things coming up. Now, we discovered more fuel deposits in Dasburg. Now, I don't really want the private sector to go and mine that, but they probably will. And then also we've got a dome breach in Dasburg. So that party that they had last turn has actually has gone bad. Now, actually, that was another question. Like, how horrible is this planet? This is a horrible planet. So we gained friendship, okay, and soldier morale is down. Just missed that one. Yeah, so we've got to get these new bureaucratic levels. I might just have a quick look. We're still going negative here. Looks like we've just finished building the solar panels. No, we've still got 0.6 of a turn left. I do need to get that one done. Actually, how long before we actually have to fulfill this demand? We've still got 8 rounds left. Okay, and we should, again, how close are we now with the Empire dashboard? We're still at 1.83. We haven't gone away from level 8 yet. Let's have a quick look and see how Dasburg is performing. with the barbaric levels. Again, we can sort of see these are now rising. It's putting pressure. It's now quality of life is up to 14. So the civilization level is under pressure to perform. So hopefully we'll sort of start to kick in fairly soon. We'll just wait for that one, I think. So we'll just sort of see how that one does go. Again, we've maxed out again with our oil. We did sell just a little bit of. So we're right on the upper limits with the actual oil itself. Anyway, let's just continue. We'll just wait one more turn before we build anything else. Both decisions. These are essentially the dome breach. So in this case, actually, I'll quickly show what's happening there. If we go to the help area, so this is the planetary statistics overview. So the exposure hazard is level 8, so it's extreme. So this is nightmarish death on immediate exposure. So a dome breach on this planet is really, really bad. So respiratory hazards are level 4, insidious death without a suit eventually. Biohazards are extreme death without a suit eventually as well. So we do need to have spacesuits. Terran is extreme. Terran plants can't live on this particular world, and the aliens that live here as well. There's no nutritional value in them as either. It's a sulfur dioxide atmosphere, so it's extremely poisonous, and which is a problem. Actually, one thing I was going to do was just go and do more scouting with this aeroplane. I will just go and do that. So if I just go across into, I think it's Y, just press the Y key, just double check that, air recon. I'll just go and, I'll just go and grab that again, just press Y, arrow keys, and I'm just going to go and have a bit of a look around to see if I can see anything out this way. So we'll do air recon.
Birds are in the sky.
No, not seeing, there's nothing out here at all. Ultimately, I'd like to get hold of these ruins. These would be good to get hold of, but I'm not ready to go that way at all at this stage. Now, where was the other fuel that we found? There it is, up there. Sort of where we're heading with different things. Now, it looks like the other major faction may also be at war with this particular group of slavers. So they've come up and sort of now pushing up. They won't push into our borders until they declare war. There's nothing of value down this way anyway at this stage. So we'll just stay where we are. There's really nothing for us to do there. Now, in terms of the the dome breach in Dasburg, so an atmospheric discharge caused a dome breach. Breathable air is venting out, and the toxic planetary atmosphere is filling the dome. Casualties are mounting as I speak. Can I count on your support to minimise the damage? So in this case, we end up with yes. So we make this decision, just ask and I'll make it happen. So we have a technician roll here of 1 die 100 plus 85 versus a difficulty of 30 plus 4 die 40. So the average there is 110. So we actually have a pretty good chance that we're going to be able to get on top of this one. If we fail, it's going to go up. It's going to cost me 7 political points to do this, to give support. Danger and unrest will go up and the population will decrease depending on what we roll. So in this case, we have this one could still sort of be anywhere we like, but in this case, we end up with the skill roll, which is the 85, is coming from, because we've got a very, very good governor. If we had a poor governor, that skill roll would be pretty crappy. So let's just go and do A, and hopefully... Okay, so here's technical roll of White Day. This governor is 72. Roll increase of plus 50 due to your support. Adjusted roll is 122. Roll increase with plus 12 due to enforcement profile. And so adjusted roll is now 134. Final roll at 134 versus difficulty 110. So we just made it. That's interesting. So we only had die 100 plus... Yeah, actually, so eventually we sort of got there. So that was successful. Danger increased by plus 6 still. We still lost some, but it could have been worse. Now, do we upgrade to a large city? And I'm thinking we do. What actually happens here, when we actually upgrade the towns, a few things happen. It means we can get faster population growth because it's, it ends up being a bit bigger, so we're expanding the city. But it does impact what can happen with our with the quality of life, because instead of it dividing by 2, it will now divide by 3. But that's still going to be okay because we're still rising up to where we needed to be. So I'm going to go yes.
Aye, sir.
So what that's going to do here, and I'll just sort of show this again. So this one here is Dasburg, and we have a look at barbaric levels. So instead of it going, these are now going to be down, these are going to be 50 divided by 3, so they're going to be a bit lower. These will keep on going up because that'll be about 33 will be what their health score and entertainment score will end up being. So overall, everything is still pushing up, which I'm sort of happy with. So that's actually all happening. Plus, they should be building in the assets of the town. They're not building it yet, actually. They've got to save up for it. But the private enterprise will ultimately be wanting to build this town's customs area when they can get enough money. Now, at the moment, they've got the private economy. They've got 164, but they're actually got some expenses there for different things as well. The service tax and the income tax is what they're paying to us. So the better off they are, the more tax they'll end up paying as well. So, but they are actually making a bit of money. So once they actually sort of hit a certain amount, they'll then invest in that new building, which will then improve the quality of life overall for the actual. So we don't have a role in, we don't tell them what to build. Okay, and again, really just sitting here now, just waiting for things to happen. So Dasburg is still one more turn away before we can really successfully do anything else there. So we'll just go and end our turn here. And then we build that, we should now be in civilization level 2. I thought it was going to happen the last turn. We must be very close. Okay, 2 decisions. Okay, so we've now discovered the power plant. And there we go. Civilization has risen to level 2. Only the fate pack on tech level increase on regular difficulty plus. Only fate pack on tech level increase. So I don't think we get the fate pack. Okay, this is the political stratagem pack that we end up getting. So in this case, we end up getting a few different things. Now you'll see that some of them have got different borders. And so this one here is a effect that comes from, which one is that one from? From meritocracy. These here, though, I think are democracy. No, that's meritocracy as well. Okay. The asterisk shows you how rare these are. These are all fairly common. I won't worry about those. So we're just going to click on OK. Prospecting push. I can try to find more things around the place if we needed to. So in this case, we now actually have finished building the solar panel. That will then start. Wow, we've only just squeaked in here. We don't know exactly what we're going to end up getting from the solar panel just yet, I don't think. It's 50 is the base, but we'll end up getting more of that anyway. So we're just going to start to come good here. Now, at tech level 9, if we go back to Dasburg, sorry, at civilization level, the barbaric level has gone from 8 to 10. So we've actually gone up 2. And again, 9 was what we were aiming for. And so these are coming back down now, but these are still going up. So these are all sort of all happening around the place. Still town customs is what they want. Go back to assets. They're not building that just yet. So that hasn't started to be built. If we just go back across again, nothing else in through there. But in Dasburg, what I want to do is I now want to go and get the, if I go back into construction, so we now sort of, we've got a bit of industrial points coming back in. I can now go back to the government buildings. And now we have access to those different buildings. I can build a hospital level 2 if I wanted to. Bureaucratic officers are going to give me 200 points here, which is actually really cool. If I go to the High Command HQ, I also get political bonus point, coming in through here as well, which I don't need as much as what I need here. So I'm going to do this one here in 2 rounds, but it's going to take a bit longer than that. Maybe not much more, but yeah, we don't quite have enough industrial points to do that in just 2 rounds. It'll be 3 rounds. So we'll go and grab this one. And this is then going to satisfy that demand that we had to build a 3rd level bureaucratic point. We've got 1, 2 already, and then we're going to end up, you can see we've only got 60 that we're actually generating. And so getting this other 200 is going to be really helpful. It's going to sort of really accelerate our research, etc. 2 decisions. Now, the Economic Council, if we decide not to go for the power plant, and I don't really want to do that, it's just they're going to keep on trying to discover other things. So I'm going to go no research target in through there. And then we've got the unit decisions back in through here. This is a training opportunity. So this is one where we can start to push our profile up. Mind is this one through here, which is at 41, or enforcement, which is at 52. I think I'll actually go with enforcement because that's sort of where we've been pushing that anyway.
Yes, sir.
The higher we can get these, the better, like the ones that we're sort of focusing on. And again, really, we're just building up. We're just building tall. We're not sort of expanding. We're just sitting on this border. Now we're still trying to get our industrial points under control at some point, but we need to get the bureaucratic points under control first. If we go back to our reports, have a quick look at the budget, so we can sort of see back in through here. At the moment, we are doing no actual research is being done back in through this other side, even though we've allocated it. This is okay. We're going to ultimately end up with a big boost to all of this stuff anyway. So yeah, hopefully we end up with combat armor very, very soon. That's really important. So for no losses, now at 3 decisions. Okay, attracted by the energy of our nation, free folk have been travelling from far to join us at Dasburg. So that's had a bit of had a bit of a population increase for us, which is great. We gained discipline, and we've discovered the high-speed machine gun, which is actually a good one. MGs are amongst our most lethal weapons when defending against infantry attacks. By increasing the bullet count of our MGs, they'll become even more lethal. But we will need a model design council for that one. So I'm still not going to go and research that one just yet. That's just one of the discoveries. But that's a good one to have. I'm not unhappy with that one. If we just go back into national decisions, White Day wants portraits in schools. Yep, I'm happy with that. We'll allow that.
Aye, aye, sir.
And law, here we go. We're now got a law vote. So enact the private property law. So on the initiative of the Democratic Superior Party, who are the government, so this is Began down in here. There's actually, he's just putting this one forward. He's holding a vote whether to enact the private property law. This law ensures that the state cannot just simply confiscate private property, nor that violence can be used by one private party on another to acquire their assets. The law affect the private economy boosted by plus 25%. National cost doubles. Cost 10% of remaining credits, or a minimum cost of 40 credits. I'm not sure what that refers to. Faction name, yeah. So there's actually, everyone's pretty much in favour of this one. So, yes, it doesn't matter what we do. Like, it's sort of, essentially we don't need to try to promote it because it's just going to go through anyway. Sway effort requires strong influence or forbid. Basically, this is, their intent is to vote for it. I don't know what's forbid there. Anyway, that should be okay. Yeah, vote. Probable outcome: vote in favour. I'm just going to lean back. So don't make any efforts. Let the vote be cast freely. So we don't have to get involved with this one. Law info. See more information on the law being voted on. So we sort of see exactly what it does have. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to lean back.
Yes, sir.
So your decision to lean back and see what the vote has changed. Commerce with +3, democracy profile of +2. Democratic Superior Party is now calling the Senate to vote whether to enact the private property law. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. The law was enacted with 98 votes in favour and 2 votes against. So, yeah, pretty major. All right, that's fine. Free folk knocking on the gate. So attracted by the energy of our nation, free folk have been travelling far to join us. 3,100 are knocking on the gates of Dasburg. We'll open the gates.
Aye, aye, sir.
It's all good. All right. Again, things are sort of just thumping along here. So, how are we going with this new building? Actually, that's good. We did actually manage to get what we needed here, and but we won't have quite enough left over. So I think I've still got 1 turn left here. I think we've got more than 1 turn. I don't think we'll quite get there. Oh, here we go. We've actually now got some more militia, which is now sort of kicked back in here. These are sort of like combination of all sorts of different types of units. These are just, they're often not as good ultimately as our main military will end up being. But let's just go and use these to plug gaps. Or we can use them to help attack back in through here. Just press the M key. Where are we? Yeah, we'll just right click there. Just push it out a little bit and just try to put some pressure on this border. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this major is starting to build other towns in around here. It's just we're a little bit too. There's not a real point us doing it because it's just so dangerous where we are. Yeah, metal's going down a little bit with what we're building. Everything else is actually pretty good. It's all pretty solid actually with everything that's going on. Energy is now going back up again a little bit. That's going to struggle again when we actually hit the other thing. Let's have a quick look inside here again at the assets. And we can see there it's supposed to be 50, but we get 70 because there's better irradiation on this particular planet. Like when the planet was generated, we end up with solar panel modification of 128%. And that came about because of planetology. The solar irradiance was 1700 rather than, I think 1500 is like 50-50, but it just means that there's more light on this world than what we have here on Earth. And so the solar panels are performing really quite well. So that's actually a good number. Yeah, that should end up sort of counteracting this a little bit more. Let's just end our turn here again. We haven't really had to move anything because we're not built up for that just yet. We need to get industrial points so we can start to build some tanks fairly soon. They're moving around. Found more fuel. Dasberg is confronted with a journalist that has managed to infiltrate the local administration's office. And civilization has risen to level 3 now. So we don't get fate packs for that because we're sort of playing on normal. So your organisation factions generated 2 new stratagems. That's okay. We do have a low, again, Liz Farn River is now 39. She's going to leave fairly soon, I would think, and it just doesn't matter. These guys are still pushing back against this other major. Let's just zoom in here a little bit. Now, that will be where they're from. This Free Folk Cave. What do we end up getting through here? Supplying with colonists. Wow, I actually want that. Alright, I'm going to go, and it looks like they're fighting with this major. So this is Burgavia. I think we move in, and we try to take this location. That's a good location. I'll use orange to do this. Across. So we're going to go marching now. It's just an opportunity for us. I'm going to keep blue down this way. Blue is just the riflemen. So these are our weaker force. This one's got the machine gunners with them. The whirlwinds. So we want that location. Usually territories will have like a special location in its core, and that's it there. So Raconia territory is centered around that free folk camp. And so rather than these guys getting hold of that, I want to get hold of that myself. Do we have anything else we can make use of in here? Not really. I'll just keep that where that is. Everything else is going pretty well. Just leave that one with there. Just go back to our 2 decisions. Zone decisions are usually worse. So, sir, we've caught a journalist woman in Dasburg. She has secretly infiltrated the government offices and been sharing sensitive information with her audience. So she should be punished, but she is very popular with especially our workers. We have laws, and spying and stealing is not what an upright citizen or journalist should do. Prepare for worker happiness taking a dip if you punish the foolish woman. What should we do with her? We can turn a blind eye and imprison her, which morality goes up, but it will cost us happiness, or we can execute her. Now, the guys are all behind executing her. Fist goes up, mind goes up, morality goes up by a lot, which is good. So I think we'll do the execution, but it is going to mean that the happiness will take a hit.
Aye,
All
sir.
right, there you go. Yep, okay, so that's okay. So anyway, that's just setting an example. Now the Supreme Command Council task, no changes there. I'm happy enough with what the actual levels are there. Back in Dasburg. Now the happiness is 70 at this stage. The workers is low. Yeah, there we go. It decreased with -23 due to popular journalist event happening in through there. So they're not all that happy with that one through there. All right, so that will come up again fairly soon, I think. So we can just sort of leave that one where that is. All right. Okay. So yeah, we do want it. We will push hard to get hold of that, just to get the extra colonists. We don't have any colonists coming in, but that will then just start to give us more colonists, which we can use for other things as well. So we don't have to just use it for to create new colonies. Now, in terms of supply, we're still okay from that road head there. I'll just leave it sort of doing its own thing. Again, assets in Dasburg. Yep, so 0.3 left for that bureaucratic office. That will then sort of satisfy the demand. We can see down through here that they're actually now creating a waste. This is a waste disposal service. So they didn't go the same way that they said that they were going to do. And it still says town customs. I'm not sure why they're not building town customs in that case. All right. Now it did cost them a fair bit in income. A debt repayment 122. Okay, so that's actually they're paying for these assets. So again, it's good that the local government sort of taking a bit of a role there. We'll just end our turn here, and this will then sort of get us now to will now sort of end up satisfying that demand. Our bureaucratic points will keep on being fed in. We should end up seeing big boosts to our research after this turn. Actually, not so much this turn. It's always the turn after that you get the benefit. It's actually during the end of your turn and the start of the next turn that all of the which is confusing in the game. I wish there was a better way for it to do that, or to at least communicate it. Here we go. So Sick, the director of the Military Research Council, says, I've brought an exemplary CEO social standing feat for 500 credits. Cool, that's good. Promises kept. So the total of your BP assets is now 3 levels, and that is higher or equal to the 3 points we promised to our subjects, which is great. And it's a good one for us to have gotten. Gained efficiency goals back in through here again as well, so that's good. Discovered a new tech university, so we've been brainstorming. So this is actually, again, she's that super bright one. I'll just leave that one where that is. We're expanding. Just dismiss this one. All right, they've pushed back, leaving this a bit exposed, which is good for us. I need to surround this. So, yeah, just put pressure in here. As we move in, we pick up more information about about who's actually in here. So there's 13 there. I can't really attack this just yet. Just bring the commander up as well. And so these, again, I'm just going to start to now reposition these into the south. Because ultimately orange will actually, we'll probably end up reshuffling this and have orange, or the orange team will in through here with the machine guns will actually need to sort of be defending. Actually, there we go. The population is now trying to get a surveillance station. And again, this is going to be quality of life that it's going to be aiming for. So that's all good. So we want this next turn. National budget. We've got all decisions back in through here. So in this case, the Military Research Council task priorities, I'm not going to change that. So no changes
Roger
there.
that.
And the national budget allocations in through here as well. I'm happy enough with that, so no changes there. Either.
Yes, sir.
Let's have a quick look at our management. So we've now sort of at level 2 in meritocracy. Still, next political system level will be in 4 rounds to get to this one here. Nothing much we can really do with that one. Profile-wise, we are sort of pushing here with heart a little bit. So we've sort of got like friendship, we've got efficiency goals, etc. with enforcement. Meritocracy is not as high up as I would like it. So we'll just keep that one sort of thumping along. Everything else is going pretty well here. Tech level wise, I really want the combat armor. I am happy with the high-speed machine guns, just not quite ready for them just yet. But combat armor is what we're aiming for. That's, for us, this is really, really important that we actually get hold of that. So it's going to make things a lot more survivable. All right, so we can't do anything else this turn, really. Everything else is... Actually, I was going to move this one up this way. Just to plug that back gap there. All right, let's end our turn here. They're using aircraft to attack these guys. Now they've accelerated out and they've gone in to protect that particular zone. Suffer no losses. Okay, so we'll just keep on going that way. Admin level has now reached level 5, and we do get a Fate Stratagem pack for that. So we've got Boomtown. This one is going to give us a population, will increase. We've got another one of those as well. We've got Cultural Interrogator, so to make them become like us, we have become a little bit like them. This is a Fate Stratagem. So the CAS growth increased by +2 points. Not sure what that is, to be honest. Thunderous, so we found a rare battery of GR artillery. Use it to judge it. It's rumoured to be very lethal. So this is can be played on a friendly zone. We'll give you GR equipment in specified zone. Again, I won't play it just yet. And then we've got Militia Loss of Faith. I won't worry about that one either just yet as well. We've got 3 decisions. One is a zone decision. Retired Militia General in Dasburg. A respected general from the militia forces has retired. He's taken up residence in a small compound in the centre of the city. Being the agreeable man he is, he was always happy to see an official visit him. So we can ask him to give a speech. Yeah, we'll do that. We want to respect this.
Aye, sir.
So we'll just go that way. Oh, there we go. CAS's Cultural Adaptation Score. Thank you, Leah. That's much appreciated. Hi, Meneliki. How are you going? So, and policy speech. So we now have to make another commitment level. Another commitment for what we're going to be doing. So these are things that the game thinks we should be looking at, which is always worth having a bit of a look at what's going on here. Now we can also bring in another organisation. Because we've got so many bureaucratic points coming in, so we have to think about this now as well. Like, what do we need here? What are we specifically looking for? And there's not a hell of a lot that we need, to be honest. I can always come back in and ask for this again in the future. So I don't have to I can do nothing and then just do it whenever I feel like it. Just go back to the national things in through here. Victory points. Let's have a quick look and see how we're going with that. So if we go down into the victory overview, we're no longer coming last. but we're close to last. No one's really rocketing ahead. Like Bergavia is now coming second. They were coming first at one point. So we're just thumping along here. We're not doing too much. And it's wanting us to raise our victory score. So it's the percentage of the planet, like the actual land that we control, as well as the population that we control. So if we can push the population up, that's going to be helpful. But no one's miles ahead. So if there was a lot of minor regimes that people were taking over, that can change quite dramatically. But in this case, it hasn't happened. All right, so bureaucratic assets, soldier morale, or victory points. We can't get to 9.3. It's going to be almost impossible without actually doing some major combat, which is not really viable. Your goal is as our average soldier morale reach at least 70%. That's not too bad. And bureaucratic assets reaches 4 levels. I mean, that's something that we sort of do want to be doing. If we have a bit of a look at the asset levels that we actually have through here. So we've got the high command. It's got a little bit through there. These now give us 200. And where was the other one? There was another one as well. I'm not seeing it there. Oh, the 10 there. There we go. 1, 2. That's only just 2, isn't it? So one of them sort of dropped off the list. I can upgrade this one here. We are picking up, though, good industrial points. I think I'll still actually go for that. If we have a look, we're not building anything ourselves in here. And it's sort of, at this stage, what do we want to be building in Dasburg? At the moment, our energy is going up, which is good. We definitely want to get another, either raise the existing solar panels. Let's just go into construction for Dasburg. So mining-wise, we've got recycling facility level 2, which I'm not interested in. Wind traps I'm not interested in. That's to get water. Energy. To build this one here is 3 rounds. I can afford it to do that, which will give me a heap of energy, which would be nice. Industry. This one is, I do actually have enough for that as well, except for the industrial points. That's going to be pretty hard. But that's going to give me a lot of industry. But it's also going to chomp through the power, which we won't be able to afford. The ammunitions factory is 2 rounds. That will then keep us on top of, we're not really fighting much yet, but that will happen at some point. I'll just keep that one back. Now the we've got the nothing in through here. I don't read that too much. Bureaucratic office. That's what it was. We went to level 2 with the bureaucratic officers. So 450 is the next level, which I can't really do at this stage. It's just going to take too much energy. But it's it's sort of there. High Command HQ, and that's sort of doable. I think the other thing is the soldier morale, paying the soldiers a bit more. I mean, I can get that one pretty quickly. Yes, political bonus points, which we're not really spending that much of. Yeah, I think I'll now focus on the military and sort of get them up to speed. So we'll come back into here and we'll just get the goal is our average soldier morale reach at least 70. Let's do that. So the heart profile went up a little bit. And I don't think I need anything here just yet. There's a few really good ones, like the Interior Council's a good one. Secret Service would be okay. Staff Council would be okay. Model Design Council would be good. We're not ready for it yet, though. Interior Council. This will then sort of help us with our taxation, etc. a lot. That might be just worth just to keep the management going. I might add that one in, and then we'll actually try to find somebody who can take that role. So let's go and get the Interior Council.
Yes, sir.
And what else was there we needed to do this turn? Well, we want to take this location. Now, they've got a few defenders in there now. So if we have a bit of a look, I've just pressed number 1. They're literally just in a rocky plain, and so they don't really have any like massive, things that will actually help them with entrenchment or anything like this. So there's not there's no real bonuses for defence or attacks with anything that's going on. Oh, there we go. They've built an airfield back out here just to attack these guys. These guys are sort of getting in around behind us now. So the slavers, and even if we take this, it doesn't mean that they disappear. We're still going to have to deal with them. But I do want to have that as something that we do end up getting. So I'm going to attack it now. Just press number 1 again. We do actually have like a fair few different groups coming back in. Now, if I move to there, that's 35. They're both 35 action points, each one of these. If we go and attack this, it's not great odds. I'll just cancel for now, and I will bring this one up as well. Just get all the orange guys to start. Yeah, 2.8, and then when I start to bring these in, 3.1. And it goes down to 2.8 again. I won't use that second group. I'll just go into odds of 3.1 and just see if we can actually push them out of here. Oh, before I do it, sorry, the recon that I actually have in through here, let's just go and analyse what we're doing here. We have a recon on this one of 121. I would like to get even more. The higher the recon I can actually have, the more secure the attack will end up being. So I can actually, if I had armoured cars, I could just sort of zip those in to do a bit of an attack. But I do actually have this as well. So I'm going to do if I press the X key, this is going to be an actual attack. So we're doing this is a, where is it? Air attack. So I'm going to do the air attack in through here. Now these can fire back, so we could lose some of these, but let's just give it a go. So we have a little bit of an attack coming back up, but the buggies unfortunately do actually have an anti-air ability.
On the way!
And we have upset a few of them. Yeah, we lost one. And they're firing back.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
But our recon has now gone up a little bit more. But we did unfortunately lose this particular grasshopper unit, this little ultralight. But we can sort of see that some of these actually did lose a little bit of problems. This one got the kill. We didn't get any kills ourselves. But we did get a bit more recon, and hopefully that sort of upset them a little bit with what's going on. So in this case, actually their readiness is still 100, unfortunately. They're still dug in. These ones aren't dug in. Their readiness is down a little bit. So it was mainly the buggies that they were attacking. Let's just go back and just go into normal movement. So we'll smash these. It's only a 2-to-1 now. they're on alert. Well, actually, what it is, we now know more about them. So we'll see how we go. There we go. We've pushed them out. So we lost, one unit? 2 subunits are retreating, not have retreated, but we did actually lose this unit here, just 1 rifleman. But that was okay. So this little grotto is now under our control. So we'll move our front line up now to this area and just sort of stay where we are all the way through here. That one can now zip around. Try to sort of close that one off a little bit. That one's okay. We'll just move these back down around as well. And just start to keep this front line a bit more fluid. Now, for them to get into here, they're going to have to go through his territory, and I don't mind them attempting that, so I think we'll actually just sort of leave that open. Now that's isolated. That's actually one of the other guys from back over here. But that's okay. So we've actually now picked this one up. So we end up, all we have to have is this one in our territory. And if we just go back in, this is a free folk cave, which will give us colonists. So that's a useful one. Now we're sort of on the edge of our of where our logistics is as well, and we have a bit of industrial points. So I'm just going to go and extend out the road a little bit from here. So I'm just going to press R, just a dirt road, and I will actually just double check the industrial points. Going into the sand is actually costing me a bit. There's no real way around it, unfortunately. I'll just come back down this way a little bit. That'll do. So that next turn we'll just get a bit more logistics out towards these. All right. There's nowhere to really defend through here. Like, this is all very, very open. You can see that they're building roads. The major is building roads down this way. So we've got nothing much else we need to do there. Let's just go back across to our replacement troops. So I'll just grab a couple of these, so 4 of those, just to get some extras as well. The recon, just get 1 of those, just to do the replacement. And everyone else is actually okay. Just close that one off. And we'll end our turn. And I better get going after this, I think. So I'll make this the last episode. Prophet just saying Minilek is around. Well, if sorry, where are we? Yeah, well, if you want the best intro to Shadow Empires, in my opinion, go check out his channel. So yeah, do have a lot of stuff in there. All right, so we've got the. We are there, so we'll just go into that one there. So the major is now sort of chomping up through these. Oh, look at this guy! He sort of comes zipping through the middle here, which is why we need to be careful. Discovered water. Soldier's morale is at 72. There we go. Actually, we didn't have to do anything, and I forgot to even address that. It just happened. That actually helps with our word score. Rocketry, we're not interested in. So large rockets, yeah, we don't need that. That's all okay. They've cut us off with supply, etc. Just dismiss that one for now. So these are cut off a little bit with the supply, so I'm just going to go in now. Again, they're getting around the back area of where we are. That one may try to get back out. I don't want to leave a big open gap here. Let's just close that gap down. So these are at low supply in through here. So these are likely to end up having like some of the supply issues in terms of getting ammunition to what, from the attack. So that's actually where they're struggling a little bit. They've still got a lot of ammo on them, but just what they requested, as replacements hasn't really kicked in. Ammunition is going down a fair amount because of that attack that we just did before. Everything else is looking okay there. I'll just move this one up. Plug that gap. Got 6 decisions back in through here. And workers hold a vote, that's organisation, zone decisions. Minor workers strike in Dasburg. Now they're wanting us to give in. Democracy, like people, we have a big pro-democracy group in the in what we in the actual government. I can afford it, so I think I'll do it. Go back to unit decisions. Training opportunity in through here. We can get enforcement going up, or mind. It's going to make her a bit happier, so let's do that one there. Workers hold a vote. Okay, so this is going to push democracy up again. Now enforcement will go down, which enforcement is our main profile here. It won't be enough. It'll be 49, which will still make it the main profile. If I go democracy and make that go up by 6, that's going to go to 48. So it's still going to be, the main profile will still be meritocracy. Let's keep it going this way. Let's just go agree
Roger
with
that.
that one there. All right, so new director of the Interior Council. No, we don't want her at all doing this. So we need somebody new to go and take this one over. So we'll just go back into our strat cards. She is useless. This is our tier 1 that we want to get rid of. So we're not going to give her a role. So we'll just go back into the strat cards. Nation. So we have juniors, or we have mercs. Now, I think the junior is probably going to be our best bet. Let's just execute the stratagem. Hopefully we pick up a good one. Cap 3 I'm happy with. High charisma. This one's issued is an inventor. I think he'll do in this role. We can always sort of shuffle around again at some other point. But this is, the inventor is actually a good one for us to have. We may do a reshuffle at some other stage, but let's just leave him in there. He's fairly good intelligence. Cap 3 is good enough. That'll do us. He's anti-democracy. All right, so back to the decisions. So we'll appoint him. So suitability rating there of 14.
Copy that.
There he goes. So he'll now start to do other things. Now this is actually where we end up, this is where we get our taxation and stuff from. So taxation, tariffs, human resources is going to be important. Interior policies. I think I'm just going to leave it like this. So we'll just go no changes.
Copy that.
Minor worker strike in Dasburg. I will give in. Hopefully we'll be able to sort of get more money. I mean, I can start to sell things off. And Zone City upgrade. Now, has that changed our... Yeah, this is actually... That was enough to shift it for democracy to be the primary... I didn't think about that one, but anyway, we've got more democracy than meritocracy now. And the Zone City upgrade is wanting to upgrade yet again, which I don't really have a problem with. So we'll just do that again. And just let it sort of continue to grow, because the population, it's going to be important that we have high population. And it's, that's certainly a way for us to do that. So I'm going to move that one down again, just so we've got like a range of different units. Actually, I'll move that one up to there. All right, that's good. This one will break out. Actually, that's already pretty good. I wonder why 6-1 works there. 6-1 odds there. What's different? Actually, I'll just do this one attack.
Open fire! Open fire!
We've lost a lot of this. What on earth was that? That result was terrible. Okay, well that was not good at all. So, oh, it was the lack of recon. That's what it was. Again, I didn't even think about that. Oh, that was on me. Let's get replacement troops. We do still have the 3 infantry there waiting. All right, we'll leave that one where that is and end our turn here. And then that should be probably all we need to do this episode, I think. Was there anything else we were waiting for? We were going to come back in, and we weren't building anything else in Dasburg just yet. That's still going up a little bit. It won't be for much longer. We do want to get some tanks, but there's no screaming rush for those either, actually, at this stage. So we're in almost like a comfortable position. I wouldn't mind getting the ammo area there. I think just getting a couple of tanks will be certainly helpful. So I might might start to, at least just for the future, just getting a couple of tanks out there, just two groups. But we'll do that probably next turn. I'll just end the turn here and then leave it basically at that point. Wow, look at the military coming in against these guys. Again, they're trying to break through again. These arachnids are building up. Discovered hydroponics. Yeah, water is not such a bad thing for us at this stage. There's increased tariffs. Low treasury levels, so our treasury is now dropping. I'm hoping to get taxation things kicking back in. And what do we got through here? This one is readiness is 100. I think what I'll do is I might just leave it here anyway, so we'll sort of come back next time and figure things out a little bit. These, I can block them off. I can just move some of these up just to block that off anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure about killing these off. This one's sort of stuck. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hi Stormworm, how you going? I'll catch you guys tomorrow if you're around. Thanks for watching. I don't think there's much else we need to do. I think that's... I always feel like there's something else I should do. Actually, one thing I might just do before I go, just so I don't forget, is to sell these guys. They'll buy 115 of these, and I've got a heap of them. So we can get like nearly 1,000 credits there.
Yes, sir.
So we'll just do that. That way we at least keep on top of the money without having to think about it here at all. Anyway, guys, I'll leave you and catch up with you again tomorrow. I'll see you then if you're around.